Hello everyone, this is Lisa Cara coming in from In Balance Pilates. Just wanted to talk to you today a few little tips about posture this time of year. So with the seasons, just being aware of posture, that can really help decrease back pain and neck pain. And just being mindful that with different changes of the year and different changes of the season, it brings about different tips and different things to think about with our posture. So the first thing I want to bring to your attention is just the different clothing, outerwear that we're wearing nowadays. So as it gets colder, I'm here in Ottawa, so as it gets much colder as we head into winter, we're wearing heavier jackets, heavier coats, hats on our heads, scarves, everything. So just having that extra little weight of clothing does change our posture indeed. You might find your shoulders are a little bit more tense, or you're hunching a little bit differently or slouching a little bit differently. So just being aware of how that extra layer of clothing can change the way we are standing tall or not standing tall. And then the second thing, tip number 2, is footwear. So our footwear has changed as well. We're often into our heavier boots, different angle of heel or flatness depending on what we're wearing, and that changes our gait. So the way where our walking pattern changes can affect our posture as well. So just being aware of different footwear, if we're used to having a certain arch in certain summer footwear that we're wearing, and then suddenly we're into our boots, and that can really change things. So you just want to be mindful of how your footwear is changing your walking and in turn changing your posture. And then the third thing is our change in activities. So because we're suddenly having to shovel and do different repetitive things that are just working our muscles in different ways that we weren't doing in the summer and fall. And oftentimes when we're shoveling, if we're in a hurry, we're trying to get the driveway clear to get off for work, we're not doing it in a very mindful way in terms of posture. So we're often rushing and tensing and just not being very mindful of how we're using the legs and twisting and things like that. So just being very mindful of, as the seasons change and our duties change, so whether it's raking leaves or shoveling snow, just being mindful of how that can really change the work on the muscles and repetitive strains and things like that. And the last thing is just the fear of falls. So as things get slipperier, there definitely is, there can be a fear of falls just when we're walking on the slippery streets and slippery roads. And in the car, if you've ever been in a car accident, there's a different level of tension with driving on the slippery roads and that kind of thing. So just being really mindful of, if you are having that bit of tendency for that fear of fall, obviously myself with having hit my head last year, I probably walk around a little bit more like a gentle old lady, gingerly trying not to fall. So it definitely changes my posture. My neck is more tense as I'm walking on those slippery conditions. So the first thing with posture, and as in anything with any injury or trying to prevent injuries, is just being very aware of what our body tends to do in these different scenarios and situations, and just being mindful of how we can again come back to neutral, come back to the most tension-free position and the most tension-free positions for our neck, shoulders, everything. So those times where you do notice that you're taking tension into the neck and shoulders, whether it's tensing up at the ears or you are slouching a bit more, just being very mindful of those times and trying to work again, getting back to neutral and getting back to whatever we can do to relax those tense muscles. So those are my 4 tips. You've got your heavier outerwear, your different footwear, your different duties such as shoveling with the change of seasons, and just that being afraid of falling can all really wreak havoc on our posture and change the way our posture naturally falls. So just being mindful of that. So those are your tips for today as we head into this colder weather, and thank you very much for tuning in. We will be sending a little video series on some posture tips. So if you are on our email list, you'll be looking for those in your email inbox. And then the other thing is we're going to have a little series on how to rev up your energy with some Pilates type principles. So have a lovely day, everyone. Bye.